Hey guys, Cinema Sickness here today to talk to you about the top 5 TV series that scared the hell out of me as a kid. Now, all these, for one reason or another, scared the piss out of me when I was a child, whether it was because of just one episode, or perhaps because of a character throughout the entire series. For one reason or another, they scared the hell out of me, so let's take a look at what they were. The first title I'm going to talk about is actually something I mentioned last year. I did a video on the top 3 titles that scared me when I was a kid, and the top 3 titles that scared me as an adult, and I did mention this as one of the titles that scared me when I was a kid, and that was Tales from the Crypt. And I will tell you the story all over again. What scared me from this was obviously The Crypt Keeper, and the reason why is because my mother decided to tape Ghostbusters off TV for me. It was playing on HBO, she taped it because I loved that movie so much, and I used to watch that tape all the time. And I would also sit through the credits because the credits had great music. The Ghostbusters soundtrack is fantastic, and as a kid, I absolutely loved that soundtrack. Unfortunately, about 3/4 of the way through the credits, it shuts off. It stopped recording, and unfortunately, what was recorded on that tape previously was apparently some Tales from the Crypt, because as soon as those credits pop off, it gets to the very beginning of the intro to Tales from the Crypt, or say at the very end of the intro to Tales from the Crypt, where you come down a staircase and you're in the crypt, and all of a sudden the Crypt Keeper pops out of the coffin and does that laugh. That is right where the credits cut off. So as soon as the credits cut off, it's the Crypt Keeper going ha 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 ha, and laughing at me, his face right up in the camera. Used to scare the hell out of me, and from that I could never watch a series when I was a kid. Crypt Keeper terrified the hell out of me, and unfortunately every single time I used to watch Ghostbusters, he would always get me. It would never fail. I would always watch the credits for a little bit too long, they would cut off, and there he was. So Tales from the Crypt scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. The next title that scared the hell out of me was Unsolved Mysteries, but not necessarily this. This here is Bizarre Murders. The murders didn't really scare me, but what scared me was when they talked about ghosts. They would talk about haunted houses, and they would get really graphic with it. And I was a huge fan of Unsolved Mysteries. I would watch this show all the time. I remember me and my family sitting around watching it, but I was always get so scared and have nightmares when they would talk about haunted houses. They would show ghosts and things moving and, walls bleeding and all kinds of crazy stuff like that, and they would show you like the dramatizations of that happening. And from that, I used to get terrified, because even now as an adult, monsters and stuff don't really scare me, but what always scared me was ghosts and haunted houses, because even now as a kid, I think those could be real. I don't think, a Frankenstein monster or Dracula is going to come get me, but could a ghost? Maybe. I just always in the back of my head think maybe ghosts are real, and as a kid, I definitely thought they were real, so Unsolved Mysteries scared the hell out of me. The next title that scared me as a kid was Are You Afraid of the Dark? But only for one episode, because I used to watch this show religiously as a kid. I loved Snick, used to watch Snick all the time. This was always on there, so I would watch the show over and over and over again. I was a huge fan of it, but there was one episode that for whatever reason, I just couldn't get past, and that was Laughing in the Dark with Zebo the Clown. Now, I'm not afraid of clowns, never have been afraid of clowns as a kid, loved clowns, had no problem with them, but for some reason, Zebo the Clown just scared me. I don't know what it was, but that episode gave me nightmares every time I would see it. To this day, I had to laugh now when I see it. I watch it all the time. It's my favorite episode now of Are You Afraid of the Dark, because it just, it brings back all those great memories of being scared as a kid. And now when I watch it, I laugh at it. I'm like, why was I scared of this? But like I said, to this day, I can kind of see maybe why I was afraid. He's creepy looking. He's got this big grin, and there's so many scenes where he's popping out of the door and coming up in the camera's face and flying up at you. Just something creepy about it. And the fact that he's chasing you down too. I mean, the kid goes back to his house, and the cigar smoke is coming out underneath the door. And I believe at one point there's like, I'm either getting this. This either happens in this, or I'm getting this mixed up with Pennywise doing this. I'm not sure, but I remember there's a balloon, I think, that comes out from under the door and pops. I know that happens. I know Pennywise does that to one of his people he's chasing down, but I think that also happens in Laughing in the Dark as well. But just things like that. The fact that he's chasing the kid basically back to his house, all to get his nose, because the kid steals his nose, and he's chasing him down just to get his nose back. And this kid's now trapped in his house and getting chased down by Zebra the Clown. And he has to go back to the fun house and give it back to him. He gets some cigars too. It's pretty funny. But, you know, it's just a great episode. But for whatever reason, I just couldn't get past as a kid, and it just scared the hell out of me. Then the next title that scared me was Hey Dude. But obviously only for one episode, and that was actually an episode from season 2 here, called Ghost Stories. And what it was about is the gang is telling each other these ghost stories and trying to scare each other. And Lucy ends up telling him a story about these campers that were basically found dead on this ranch. And it was supposed to be this big mystery because all the doors and windows were locked from the inside. So how did anybody get in to kill these people? How did everybody die if all the windows and doors were locked? Because nobody could get in, nobody could get out. Something creepy happened. And it really starts to get to Ted. And it's this dark, stormy night, and Ted hears scratching, and all this stuff's happening, and he ends up hearing scratching under the floorboards. And he starts freaking out, and he ends up thinking, I know how they got in. They came through the floorboards. That's how they got in and killed all these ranchers and campers. That's how this happened. And, you know, it's just so creepy, and he starts freaking out. And, of course, at the end, he just finds out that scratching was like a rake and stuff like that. And Mr. Ernst was trying to get into the door, and you know, all the noise you heard was something else. And Lucy was just making up this story, and, you know, didn't realize it was going to scare everybody so much. But it was great. But for some reason, as a kid, once again, I guess it's the idea of being trapped in this little, you know, bunk with something trying to get in and kill you just really freaked me out. And you know, I was a huge fan of this show as well. Another one I watched religiously. I've seen every episode of this a million times, watched all the time as a kid. No other episode of this ever scared me. I'm pretty sure they did other Halloween episodes, but they never scared me. But Ghost Stories, that definitely got to me. That great story Lucy tells, and the fact that Ted gets freaked out by it just really got to me. Always scared me. And the last TV title that scared me as a kid, I'm saving for last, because this one's kind of the most ridiculous. And that was Sesame Street, all for one song. And it was where that damn shark sings about his pearly whites, which unfortunately is not featured on this disc. I wish it was. But when I was a kid, that shark would come on, he'd swim to the screen, he would start singing about his pearly whites, he had this big sharp white teeth. When I was a kid, that scared me. I don't know if I thought he was going to eat me or come out of the screen or what, but my mom always tells me stories that when he would come on the screen, I would take off running. And I very vaguely remember this happening because I was really little when this happened. But if I do remember correctly, I think I used to hide behind a rocking chair we used to have in the house because I don't know why, but again, this shark just terrified me. I guess I thought he was going to come out of the screen and eat me. I guess that's what I thought was going to happen. I've seen this song since. I watched it on YouTube. It's not that scary. It's a Muppet shark. He looks friendly enough, but I guess it was those big teeth or something about the fact that it was a shark. It just terrified me as a kid, and like I said, I would take off running. To this day, my mom still makes fun of me for that. I always hear crap about it. She's always telling me, hey, remember that shark you used to be scared of? She just laughs it up. So, definitely scared the hell out of me. Nothing else scared me. Loved it. Never afraid of any of their Muppets. I was a big fan of Muppets. I was a big fan of Sesame Street. Huge fan of the show. But that damn shark scared the hell out of me. So that's it for the top 5 TV series that for one reason or another scared the hell out of me as a kid. So that's it, guys. Hope you're having a great October. Hope you're watching some great scary movies. Maybe even some great scary TV series. And I'll talk to y'all later. See ya.